My name is Douglas Karagu. I am a consultant by day. The journey started actually about 4 years ago when I heard about 4 or 5 years ago when I heard about a developer who was doing some units along this road actually where we are right now at Coral Bells. And a very good friend of mine brought me a flyer and showed me the apartments at Roysambu, Royal Suburbs. And it looked really interesting. Coincidentally, as I was looking at those units, I saw a conversation in a school group that was discussing Savo as a developer. And so it got me curious as to how those two coincidentally merged on one weekend that I heard about the same company from two very diverse groups. So it piqued my interest. And I decided, with Dennis having showed me that and seeing that conversation, I thought I would dig up a little bit and find out about them. So I made a call on the number that was on the flyer, and I took a trip to Ngong Road. And when I got there, I was met by Martha, who I think at the time thought that I was there to buy a unit. So she put on her marketing charm, trying to sell me a unit, and it almost worked. While that was going on, I met Emily and then Leonard Mcharo, and we got talking. And at that point is when I formally introduced myself, told them who I was, and the purpose of my visit, which was to try and see if I could get a developer for a piece of land that our family had been trying to partner with a reputable developer. We had been in the search, I'd actually been speaking with a lot of potential developers before I finally settled on Savo. So that actually marks the commencement of our journey, was that initial meeting that we had at Ngong Road. I grew up in Ndegwa. My dad and my mom moved here in 1981. So I have seen the Ndegwa evolve over the course of those years. The specific piece of land was acquired through a lot of challenges and difficulties. And I give a lot of respect and grace to my mom, because she really worked hard to ensure that that specific piece of land was acquired. So my relationship with that land is very interesting, because we used to pick a lot of coffee there, and it wasn't the most pleasant thing, sorry mom, for us to do. But yes, we had to do that. It is part of our growing up. So I grew up picking coffee at times when it was finally allowed that you could actually intercrop. She put in beans there and so on and so forth. So we literally grew up farming on that specific piece of land. It has been a very interesting journey, I must admit. When I remember when we did the groundbreaking, it was emotional, simply because it was the culmination of a very long journey and a very interesting negotiation to get us to that particular point. And I think when we broke ground, there's apprehension, because you're giving up something with a guarantee that there'll be a building. But there is apprehension, and that is just natural. However, I think I had faith, and we prayed a lot about this, and I'd seen Coral develop and be delivered. And so the 2-year mark was, it's something that I was a bit unsure about when I first heard about it, until when I started seeing the building go up. I mean, I was told, don't worry about it. It takes a long time to go down, but once you start going up, we'll keep going up. And here we are. The building is up and running within the 2-year mark. And so it has been interesting. I think one of as anything of this magnitude has incredible and immense challenges that we have seen. Some are internal, And I think for Sunset in particular, a great deal have been external, whether it is external happenings in Europe or internal in terms of you know, chains of production and distribution chains, so on and so forth, the price of cement going haywire, price of steel going haywire, and yet still delivering. I think that is a testament as to who Savo is and to the fact that I think we chose the right partner for this project. I'm a firm believer in never underestimating the impact that a single action can have on changing an individual or the world around them. When you look at people who have changed the world, it has not taken anything momentous for that to happen. It's taken a specific action on that individual for that to happen. And I think it's the same thing here. I have been fairly hands-on when it comes to the construction of this project, and I have seen it change lives. I have seen individuals go in and grow in terms of their skill set. I have seen individuals go in and grow in terms of their responsibility and scope of work. And that's just within a 2-year period. Now extrapolate that and think about the community that it'll serve. You have 515 units in there that will have a lot of people who are relying on those individuals, and those tenants will be there, will also be relying on the community to support them. And what that means is that as soon as tenants move in, there is a trickle effect, right? There's going to be a mother who is going to come and start washing clothes, and from day one, start feeding her children. There's going to be somebody who has been saving up for boda boda, and the very next day, they have customers to carry. There's somebody who will start a very small business in there, and within a few years continue to grow. The design of Sunset helps you, actually prepares you for this, because there's studios 1s and 2s. You can, as you continue to grow in your, in your career, in your business, you can continue growing within the apartment. So the building is actually built for growth, and the impact will, it is something, taking a step back, it is something that you never think about when you're handing over land for development, right? When you get into partnership, that is not at the forefront of what it is that you're thinking. What is at the forefront is, I want the building done, I need my units. I think now when you reflect and see the building and you start seeing activity all around it, that is when you start realizing, wait a second, this is actually much bigger than just the units and the rental income that will accrue from that. Savo is, I see Savo as a movement, right? It's not just a developer, I think it's a movement. And the reason I say that is because there's a certain brand that Savo has gotten that rubs off the right way if you get associated with Savo. And so what do I see in Savo's future? I see Savo growing beyond its wildest dreams. When you think about where Savo has come over the last 7-8 years, this is the 8th year now, and the impact and the developments that have been achieved, I challenge someone to actually show me somebody who has done anything at this magnitude, at this scale, without, not just completed, but keeping promises consistently, right? Especially with Sunset. Sunset has been built with challenges galore. I know that firsthand, I've experienced it firsthand. And to see it come through in 2 years, I actually shiver to see what Savo will do when all things align. Yeah. I think for me it's just to appreciate everybody that has been a part of this journey. It is not just the Karagos as a landowner and them Charos coming together and the wider Savo family to deliver this. It has taken a lot of individuals, and a lot of those go unnamed and unappreciated. And I think it's always good to recognize them and to recognize the community because at the end of the day, none of these projects will exist in an island. There's a community that is accepting of Tsavo residents, and we just hope that that Tsavo will give in as much as it receives. So as the community continues to embrace Tsavo within the Ndegwa, especially because I just have a soft spot for the Ndegwa, but even the wider, the wider reaches of the company, I just hope that the community will continue embracing, because there's good in this. It is coming from a good place, and good deserves good. Yeah. We are the Karagos. We are the bold who change the world.